Okay, so I wanted to discuss Coding Challenge 6. So today you are being assigned Coding Challenge 6, and along with that you have been provided with two files, catbreeds.json and catfacts.json. And if you see, this is the information that is there within it. Okay, so for cat breeds, okay, you'll see that it's sort of a nested JSON file. Within an object, you have this data key and you have an array of different cats. Okay, so what you want to do in Coding Challenge 6 is create a database. Okay, so currently our database is called cluster. You'll change your, if you watch the recording for today's class code, then you'll change your database name from cluster to, perhaps if you're using the same code as an example, then when you're making a connection with your database, you'll change the name from cluster to catsdb. So you need to make a database whose name is catsdb, and within that you need to have two collections. We currently only have one. You will create two collections. The first collection is going to be called cat. Okay, first one's going to be called facts and then breeds. Okay, so inside this cats database, catsdb, you should have two collections, facts and breeds. Currently, in our example, we only had one. You'll use the same process to create both. And within the breeds collection, you will call this data key specifically and only insert these objects. So you'll see that outside these square brackets, okay, outside of this array, you have a lot of information. Current page one, scroll to the bottom, you have all of this extra information. You don't want to insert any of that. All your database, you don't want any of this. All your database must have is that you must figure out a way to call this JSON object specifically, like you did with your voter. You can use the FS module like you did with the voter results coding challenge 4. And this data key has an array of objects. You want to call that specific key's value and only insert these cat breed objects to your database. Okay. Again, I don't want anything that's outside of data. You want to specifically call the key within this JSON file that's provided to you. You want to call data and only insert this cat information, nothing from outside of it. So that ends over here. So all of this information from first page URL, none of that needs to be inserted. You just need to insert all of these cat breed information. Similarly, even with the cat facts JSON file that's provided to you, you have several facts about cats and then some other information as well. You need to again specify the data key and insert only these objects, these values, the keys and values within curly brackets, all of these values within this array that you have assigned to this key called data within this JSON file that's provided to you. That's all you need to enter so into your database. So just specifically say that once you've read your facts and breeds JSON file, just make sure you are reading just the data's keys value, which is all of these objects, and insert just that to your database. And I believe that's pretty much it for your coding challenge. You need to create a database in MongoDB Atlas called CatsDB. You should have two collections within it, cat facts and breeds, and you need to save the data object from each JSON file as a document with proper collection, as in you need to insert it to your database under proper collection. So all the breeds from breeds.json file need to go in that specific collection. Facts will go in its own collection. And for each of the breeds, add a name and value. The name should be an image and okay. So for each of the breeds object that you're inserting into your database, right? I'll go back to the breeds page. For each of these breed objects that you are inserting into your database, before you insert it into the database, just like you did with Coding Challenge 4, to each of these objects, you need to add a key. Okay, that key is going to be called image. All right, and you need to use this cat gif link. So if you click on this cat gif link, you'll see that every time you refresh it, or rather, yeah, every time you click on it, my bad, every time you click on it, you'll find a different cat gif that loads. Okay, so you need to add a key called image to each breed object before inserting it to the database. Okay, so for this breeds.json file, before inserting it to the database, you need to add a key called image, and the value needs to be this randomized link. And that is important because for your upcoming challenges, for a few of your upcoming challenges, you will build on whatever you have submitted in Coding Challenge 6. So in Coding Challenge 6, you're currently submitting this. Your Coding Challenge 7, when we get to it, will build on this submission. So you'll use this code again, implement any feedback that I provide, and use that for Coding Challenge 7. So if you've not done Coding Challenge 6, you can't do Coding Challenge 7, and so on. Okay, so make sure you have this cat image key and its corresponding GIF link value added to the database. And that's all for your Coding Challenge 6.